riverfront. And on June 6th, there will be an event to rededicate the monument. And there will also be a lot of other activities around the rededication. There's going to be a reenactment of the landing. There's going to be an opportunity for people to get a sense of a bigger project that we should also talk about for the restoration of a much larger part of the parklands.
So you're talking about the area that would be between this monument, which is just down the river from the Watertown Square, and the Perkins School for the Blind, which is in that on Charles River Road. Right,
and even beyond that, all the way down to North
Arsenal.
Beacon Street. So it's about a mile or a little over a mile of riverfront park there that has unfortunately been allowed to it's been neglected over time.
But they did something very interesting on that part of the road. Is they did the traffic calming there by repainting the stripes, and that has worked quite well. So there's only one travel lane, and I thought that was a very innovative way of traffic calming because sometimes if you make the road too wide, people are invited to speed, and so they added this bike path, and so that was a very innovative approach.
It has worked very, very well. And what this project that we're now working on will do is it will improve the parklands between that road and the river, which is a beautiful stretch of park. It has many different types of parkland in there. There's a forested area right below what's called Perkins Hill, right across from the Perkins School. There are some sort of meadow open areas. There's a playground that DCR maintains and that we're hoping to actually renovate as something that is an accessible playground, because there are a lot of children at the Perkins School who would take advantage of a playground as well as access to the river if it were designed in a way that were accessible for them. So we've been working with people who are expert in that area to develop a sensory path through the parklands.
So for blind or visually challenged people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the Perkins School has been a big part of this project. It's been a very exciting project, both because of what it will bring to that part of the riverfront, but also because of all the different people who have been involved. The Solomon Fund, Herb Nolan, who's a good friend of yours, they really were a catalyst because they brought some money to the table. The Sasaki Associates, they did the planning at a favorable rate. The town, of course, and the DCR. And then also a lot of just residents in the area.
And I know our volunteers have been out there, the Conservancy volunteers have been out there with Evan Moss cleaning and clearing, because often you couldn't see the water, which I think is a pity when you're so close to the water and it gets so overgrown. So it's important at areas that are appropriate to allow the people to see the water.
Right. Well, this project is designed to get people down to the river, because unfortunately what happened over time was that the neighborhoods that are close to this part of the riverfront got somewhat cut off from the river. There weren't good places to cross. There weren't safe places to cross. There's a guardrail built that sort of acted more as a barrier to people getting down to the river. So the design that was developed with the funding from the Solomon Fund and the help from Sasaki and input from a lot of people in the community really opens up the park to the neighborhoods. It reintegrates the parkland into the neighborhoods. And as you say, in important spots, it opens up the river, both visually as well as in terms of access for boating. So there, in the design, there are a number of places, staircases, stone staircases, and so on, for people to come down.
Wonderful.
Right.
So and that, there's this kayak rental place right near the Harvest Stadium. So that will be a wonderful way to go upriver and explore that, because then soon after the Galen Street Bridge you come to the dam and you would have to have a portage, but up to the Watertown Dam you really have all that body of water that is ideal for kayaking and canoeing. Yeah. Now along this stretch, that will also improve the bicycling, and tell us also about the linking of the bicycle paths along the Charles over to the Fresh Pond, which I think is a wonderful project.
Yes, I mean that is another development, a recent successful development that we have the funding identified for. This is a bike path that runs from School Street in Watertown. It's School Street and Arsenal Street, along an old railroad bed, down to Arlington Street.
A rail to trail.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And ultimately, the plan is to link it on down to Fresh Pond, and then through to the Minuteman path.
There's a little stretch still missing there. But
yes, well the design work is being done on that. There are some right-of-way issues there that are still being worked on. But the DCR is very supportive of this. And in addition, we have identified a way to link down to the bike paths by the river. And I think this is what you're talking about. There's a spur that will be created down through the Arsenal property, down to the river paths. And there is a portion of that actually goes across an easement that's owned by the city of Cambridge.
That's right.
Where the city has a water main. And I've been working with the city manager and with his planning department, and the DCR, of course, is involved as well to work out the arrangement to put that spur across that easement. The city has been wonderful, wants to make sure that it has access to that water main if necessary, but we're hopeful that that's going to be settled soon, and that project will be underway in the next few months.
That's been planning a long time, and I mean, Cambridge has been a real visionary in terms of bicycle planning. They allocated a lot of resources to really implement the planning, and DCRs, Dan Driscoll, has been pushing for those bicycle paths.
Right.
And I think we see so many more bicycles. I actually bicycled here today. I mean, it's amazing how many more bicycles there are. So it's wonderful. It was, I think, many years in the planning that this is now coming to fruition, and there are so many people who will be using it. Probably some of it for commuting, but also recreationally, because it gets you to Fresh Pond, and then it gets you on to the Minuteman, which is a wonderful old a trail, rail to trail that has been around for a while. It's also great for inline skating. I've been out there on my inline skates. It's nice and smooth there.
Excellent.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you also this is a story that I think will come to a happy ending fairly soon. There's a story that still has a way to go, and that's the GSA site, the site which is near the Arsenal Street Bridge.
Right. Right. There's a parcel of land that is now under the control of the General Services Administration. It was formerly part of the Arsenal when it was a defense site. This is actually, technically they term this a FUDS, a formerly used defense site. And there was some toxic contamination there that was a result of the activities at the Arsenal.
Of testing.